What's up? What's happening? And welcome back, man. We here. We on it. We doing it. We ready to start, man. Y'all already know though. Before we get started, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, so that way y'all can be notified when I do my next videos and when I bring up these next topics. Hey, man, trying to find that balance in your life is always something great. Y'all see me, man. You see my face. Hey, man, my cheekbones coming back, my cheek structure, all that good stuff, man. It's starting to come back. Um, Hey man, I've been grinding, been slowly but surely, hitting my workouts, staying up to date on it, man. Just staying focused day by day. Create the systems, man, so you don't fail. It's not really about the goals, it's about the systems that you create to make sure that you continue to be your best self and continue to show up. That's what you got to do. Balance out your life. It's not about perfection, it's not about, you know, any of that. What you want to make sure that you're doing is you're doing the little things day by day to continue to get better and continue to do what you need to do. All right, man. You already know. We got another one for you. So today, man, yep, y'all saw the topic. And this actually came out what's today, the 15th? I think it was like February 6th. So almost 2 weeks ago. Now, I didn't talk about it last week because personally I need to get more information. I'm not one of those that just kind of jump out there and want to be the first to talk about something just because it's hot. It is a hot topic. It's very hot. But I wanted to talk about the financial pillar today, right? So, talking about Floyd Mayweather suing Showtime for $340 million. $340 million. And I want to just talk about, the scary truth about your money. We're going to tie all this together. But the news was Floyd Mayweather filed a massive lawsuit against Showtime and Steven Espinoza for $340 million. He claims his earnings from massive fights, Pacquiao and McGregor, which we know those are probably the two biggest fights of all time as far as generating money. Um, what he's saying is money was diverted into hidden accounts controlled by his former advisor, Al Heyman, right? And so that's kind of a tough thing. So he's basically saying 340 million that he made, right? And it's crazy because how does a man who's nicknamed himself Money and earned over 1.2 billion in his career end up missing $340 million? That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. It's also one of the things I know Showtime reported that Mayweather's team, that they actually lost the files in a flood. So them trying to figure out where everything is, and so they're saying that all of basically that documentation of those fights, the money, the ledgers, they've all been lost at this point. So I'm not sure how this is all going to play in court, but how do you overstep or miss $340 million? I'm not sure. And another thing is, of course, there's allegedly, what people are saying is that Mayweather is going broke, right? Mayweather's going broke. Now, let's be clear. Mayweather broke is not our broke. You know what I'm saying? Mayweather broke is not our broke. Mayweather being broke would be probably him, having 20 to $30 million after he probably, liquidated all his assets. He wouldn't be broke. But one thing that we know is that he should have definitely changed up his lifestyle. We see it with athletes all the time that, of course, is one thing when you're making the money and the money is coming in, right? But it's another when you stop making the type of money that you were making. We're talking about somebody especially on the probably the last, I want to say 5 to 6 years when he was fighting. I mean, the least he was making was $50 million a fight. Like, I want people to let that sink in, and he's fighting twice a year typically, and so probably when you think about how much he made, like the last 5 years of his fighting career, he probably just in those 5 years generated about $700,000. I want to say, just in those, because he was money. He was money Mayweather. Anytime he got in the ring, he was walking away with a minimum of 50 million. So I want that to set into your mind. And so now maybe they did lose his 340 million. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. Maybe he knew and it's like, okay, now I need the money. I'm going to go after it. So now he's definitely, going to seek the money to get paid. You know, one thing that we have to understand, right? There's a lesson in this. High income does not equal financial security, right? You can be the best offensive earner in the world and still have a trouble, defensively when it comes to your money, right? So we have to make sure that we set up things. And now, like I said, with Mayweather, even if he was broke, or quote unquote, Mayweather's broke isn't the regular person's broke, right? He's still gonna be a millionaire at the end of the day, even if he starts to liquidate every single thing that he has. So let's keep that 100% because the man has properties. So even if he had to sell all his Bugattis, he had to sell some of his homes, I know he has real estate, skyscrapers, I know in New York. A lot of that is going on. So I'm pretty sure if he liquidates, I know they just talked about him being countersued, as well, because there was I guess a penthouse in New York that he was renting that was $100,000 a month, and he ended up being about 6 months behind. And before he realized it, they reached out to him, and he was kind of confused on what are you talking about? So apparently, he's paid them half of the money, but he hasn't paid them the rest from what he was behind, and so he's being sued for about $330,000 for that. And then also he's getting sued by a jeweler that he had $1.6 million in jewelry that he acquired from them. And of course, he's been getting that from them, been purchasing jewelry. So he's good for it. He's going to get it to us. But apparently he's only paid about $300,000 of that, jewelry price tag. So they're also suing him. Not sure. It's allegedly. We'll see. So, of course, that's also part of the reason why people think that he's, kind of going broke. He spends a lot of money, and he's earned the right to spend a lot of money. I don't believe we tell people how to spend their money and what they spend their money on. My thing is making sure that you have the financial knowledge and you have the wherewithal to make sure that you're taking care of yourself on the back end, which is the big thing. There's a lot of people making great money, big money, but they are not able to, put up. They're living paycheck to paycheck. As soon as the money comes in, they got to spend it. I know people like that. Like money literally burns a hole in their pocket. And so you have to make sure that you set yourself up to handle your business and take care of yourself, right? One thing that I always tell people to do, my clients, is you got to make sure that you pay yourself first. That's one of the things that I learned, is that you definitely need to pay yourself first. When you pay yourself first, right, it takes away everything else. And when I say pay yourself first, that's towards your savings, that's towards your investments, right? Pay yourself first. So now, at the end of the day, what you have left, you're okay with spending. Of course, well, then you pay. So you pay yourself first. Let me take a step back. You pay yourself first, then you pay your bills, and then the money you have left over is, what you can, decide to treat yourself with. And we have to start to look at that. I tell people at a minimum you should be saving 10% of your gross, not your net, 10% of what your gross is, preferably 20%. Preferably 20%. So if you make $1,000 a week gross, you should be saving $200 per week. $200 per week. That's the goal. That would be the plan, right? $200 a week. You should be putting that towards your savings and your investments. Savings, investments. You have to. You have to. One of the issues that we have a society have gotten so caught up in is that we see what people are doing on Instagram, Facebook, everybody's showing their highlights. And so, we start to look at like, man, how come I can't live like that? How come I am not able to do the things that these other people around me are able to do? Well, you could probably do some of that, but at the same time, the reason why you're not able to do it is because you were probably taking care of your business and putting your money away, saving, your money, paying your bills, and then, whatever you have left over, you living within your means. You're not going out here, quote unquote, blowing a check. And so that's what some people that you see on social media are doing. They're going out here blowing a check, or their living situations are a lot different. Maybe they live in a place and they got multiple roommates. So their bills are only a couple $100 a month, right? They still living at home with mom and dad, right? They ain't even paying no bills. So they out here, they got a job. Parents is like, hey, live your best life. So for them, even if they are saving, right, doing what's right, different financial situations, hey, they make that same $1,000 that they're making goes a lot further when, you don't really have rent to pay or any of that, or your bills are broken up so much you're only paying $300-400 a month on rent because of the multiple roommate situation, right? Just all depends. So you can't just look at those types of situations. You have to learn how to pay yourself first. Let me tell y'all something that is hard. It 100% actually is hard. It's something that you have to get accustomed to and used to. And when you pay yourself first and put money into the savings and money into your investments, right, and it's locked up, and then you done paid your bills and you sitting around, hey man, sometimes you may only have a little bit of money, and that's to maybe get a nice little dinner, or whatever it is that your vices, I call vices. You might want to buy shoes or whatever it is. But if you've paid yourself, paid your bills, then there's nothing to really be ashamed about when you start to do that. You have to make sure that you're planning for the future. Let me tell you something. It is not sexy. It is not cute. It is not hot. It is consistency. That's what it is. It's delayed gratification. A lot of people cannot live on delayed gratification. YOLO. I want to do what I want to do right now. I want to get it how I get it. I want to make sure that I'm in a great space to get done what I need to get done as soon as I do it. So, I want to spin, I want to spin, I want to spin, I want to spin. It's sexy in that time, blowing money fast. You feel me? Doing all of those things. But that's not good. So yeah, now back to the Floyd situation, right? So one of the issues is Floyd has a new team. This is where a lot of this is coming from. He has a new team that's trying to figure out. So clearly there is some inefficiencies there that he's noticed. So he has a new team and they're looking over the books, looking at everything, and they realize that, okay, something's going on here. And so Showtime reportedly claims that the records were lost in a flood, and so they're inaccessible. So now it's trying to figure out. And so I don't know if he has the receipts. So if he has the receipts, he's going to get his money. If he don't have the receipts, then more than likely he's not going to get the money. So you were with a team originally that was quote unquote taking care of you in your finances. You were bringing a lot of money to the table, a lot of money to Showtime, a lot of money to everybody. Floyd was bringing a lot of money to boxing. We knew that. The money man, that's Floyd Money Mayweather, right? But did he trust his team to do it without verifying? Never let a third party be the sole keeper of your financial truth, right? I know people that they have someone looking at their books, right? That's in charge of their books, and they also pay someone to come in and make sure everything is cool. Let me tell you something, because this is a doggy dog world, especially with someone that has these types of money. The reason why the uber rich have someone else coming in outside and keep them on retainer is because they trying to take the main people spot anyways. So guess what they gonna do when they on the outside looking in? They the contractor, they the third party or the fourth party, right? They gonna make sure they do their job to stay retained, and then possibly come in and take over, who is your right hand. I'm just saying, you have to make sure that you are paying attention to that, and you making sure everyone stays on track to make sure that you are doing what you need to do. So it's like bringing that to, us, right? Us regular people. Are you auditing your own subscriptions, bank accounts, tax returns, right? If a flood hit your records today, would you know exactly what you're worth, right? Will you know what you're missing, what's going on? I got rocket money, yeah, just for this, to make sure that I stay up to speed on all the things that I'm doing, and making sure that I handle my business in that way, right? Because Rocket Money is going to let me know exactly where I'm spending my money, exactly what I'm doing, and how I'm handling it, right? You have to. Checks and balances. So what else? Reports suggest Floyd is facing current financial pressure, right? Which we said. Debts to a Nigerian media company, property foreclosures, and even a 54 million loan at 9% interest, right? That's a lot. That is a lot. Be quiet. Mayweather played the short game by showing off cash, cars, and jewelry assets that depreciate, right? Hopefully he was playing the long game just as great as he's been playing the short game. We know he has investments. We know that he's doing a lot. So hopefully he's been taking care of his money. I'm a big Mayweather fan. I'm a big Mayweather fan, right? So I hope these reports are fake. I hope that he's been handling his business. I hope that all is well, all is great. So we'll see. I'm hoping, and praying for the best. So, hey man, make sure you're handling your business. It's hard out here. Financial pillar. You got to make sure that you're handling your business and doing what you need to do. You got to. All right, man. Hopefully you got something out of this, man. Hopefully some of this definitely translates to your life, what you got going on, what you're doing to make sure you're doing, everything you need to do to be financially savvy. Y'all already know, man. Go to my website, www.gentleman'scouncil.com. And if you need some help with all the things that we're talking about to make sure that you're set up, then we'll get you squared away. Until the next time, peace.